Thank you and welcome, everybody. We are very happy that you have joined us for our show. Start out with a little bit of unfortunate news for the weekend. We've learned that Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away at the age of 87 on Friday afternoon. No matter what your politics are, where you are on the political spectrum, you got to have a lot of admiration and respect for Justice Ginsburg. She was a person of deep conviction. I might not have always agreed with maybe her rulings, but she was a genuinely thoughtful person who had to come up the hard way as a young female attorney when it just wasn't easy to do it. And to imagine that she one day would sit on the Supreme Court couldn't have been even dreamed at the time when she started her law career. I want to say that one of the most powerful things about her is that her best friend on the court was Judge Antonin Scalia, which might surprise some people because they were as polar opposite as two people could be. But they were friends, and it reminds us that when people want to be civil, they can and they should. Our prayers for the family of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I hope you'll remember them in your prayers this weekend. Hey, over the past few weeks, I have told you about my new book written by Steve Fiesel and me called 3 C's That Made America Great: Christianity, Capitalism, and the Constitution. Now, these are the 3 pillars on which our nation was founded and upon which it stands. Remove any of the 3, and it's likely we collapse. I've spoken in previous weeks about the Judeo-Christian worldview that really was the framework of our laws, and the principle of free enterprise and capitalism that honored work and allowed individuals to own property and to live in economic liberty as to their occupations, their priorities of spending, and the ability to take entrepreneurial risk in order to obtain the rewards of hard work and wise financial decisions. But there is another critical part of what makes us great, and that's the incredibly unique document that broadly defines our laws and our rights. Of course, I'm talking about the U.S. Constitution. And it is a good time to be discussing the Constitution as we just observed Constitution Day on Thursday. Now, the Constitution is not divinely inspired in the manner of the Bible, which I honestly believe to be God-breathed, inerrant, and infallible. But our Constitution surely had the blessing and anointing of God in its sheer brilliance as a founding document of our government. For one thing, a stunningly powerful part of the genius of our Constitution is that it can be changed. Our founding fathers recognized their imperfections, and they didn't claim to have created a perfect union, but rather a government striving toward a more perfect union. They empowered future generations to expand and codify into law liberties that maybe weren't foreseen in 1789, but they made it so that it wouldn't be easy to amend the Constitution, because they never wanted that to be something done in a time of emotion or due to the passion of something current, but maybe not consistent with who we are as a nation. But has it ever occurred to you that the entirety of our Constitution, and especially the first 10 amendments known as the Bill of Rights, in not one instance empowers government and restricts the liberty of citizens? No, in every case, the power is considered inherent with the people, not the politicians. The purpose of the Bill of Rights was to explicitly enumerate the rights that were absolutely the property of the people, and then to make clear that the government was limited in its power. Let that sink deep within you, because what made America great was a document that restricted the government and empowered the citizen. The Constitution does not give you a set of do's and don'ts. It tells the government what it cannot do. It cannot keep you from practicing religion as you see fit. And despite what the governors of California, Michigan, Virginia, or New York say, they can't restrict you from meeting, worshiping, or even singing. Now, the government can't restrict the freedom of your speech, even if what you say is offensive or even outrageous. The government can't prohibit you from owning weapons of self-defense to protect yourself or your family or your property. The government can't take away your private property unless they need it for a public purpose, and then they got to pay you for it. The government can't send police into your home just to look around without probable cause, because they got to have a search warrant signed by a judge and follow due process. And the government can't deprive you of life or liberty without due process, which, by the way, that ought to stop abortion in its tracks if the politicians had the courage to believe in the personhood of every individual. And the government has to leave decisions to the state government unless that is a topic that is expressly written into the Constitution. And that ought to end a lot of what Washington does, because the Constitution simply doesn't give Congress that much power. It actually gives it to you. I hope you'll get a copy of my book, 3 C's That Made America Great: Christianity, Capitalism, and the Constitution. And I promise that Steve Feasel and I document everything. It is not based on unnamed sources. Nope. This book will inform you, empower you, and it will encourage you. Of course, you can get it at HuckabeeBooks.com, bookstores, or Amazon, but you don't have to purchase your freedom, just the book, because your freedom's already been provided. And the title deed to your freedom is in this extraordinary document called the Constitution. By the way, I'm sure that a lot of judges and congressmen haven't even read the thing, but that's no excuse for you. You might just find out that you really do love America after all. Read it. Now, if you're seeing this, I know you've enjoyed that video. I mean, how could you not, after all? So you know what you should do? Leave a like, click on the subscribe button below, and hit the notification bell next to it so you'll always know when I have another video up for you to enjoy.